been Johnnie Jackson. Turned pro in 2001, won the Nationals, got to a few Olympias, 2 times top 10, and did something almost no one does. He went out on a high with 2 wins, actually,
That's right, yeah.
in 2017, and he won an Arnold's there, South Africa.
Unfortunately, man, it's sad. It's almost all about who can afford the best guru to put the best formula together for yourself. It's flip-flop.
Yeah.
Work smarter, not harder. Well, they really took it to heart when it comes to bodybuilding. It's not as smart because you're going to die before you get to display all your glories.
Why are you show off on social media?
Right.
And if social media wasn't there, would you do it?
Exactly. He's in shape, he's lean and all that stuff, but never grainy hard. Some of these machines, damn near.
Big surprise, guys. I'm now with Gasp. I've been wearing that stuff for like 7-8 years. I've been knowing them personally. The owner is Michael. He's the greatest guy. He just supports the sport of bodybuilding, putting up events, building community, friendships. It's all about love and positivity. The clothing is very cool. Everyone who's deep into bodybuilding knows GASP stands for bodybuilding. If that's where you want to spend your money on, then use my code and have a good conscience doing so.
Welcome everyone to a new episode of the Overcome Podcast. I'm hosted here by my new sponsor, GASP. They support me, GASP and Better Bodies, and one of the athletes for a long time, been Johnnie Jackson.
Long time.
Yeah, who was turned pro in 2001, won the Nationals.
That's right.
Got to a few Olympias, 2 times top 10, and he did something almost no one does. He went out on a high with 2 wins, actually.
That's right, yeah.
In 2017, and he won an Arnold's there, South Africa.
That's
Pretty
right.
cool, and Arnold was there. He got the trophy from Arnold.
From
Nowadays,
Arnold?
he's only at the Ohio one, so you got lucky with that one.
Yep.
That's great. You've
Yeah,
been
the
known.
South African president gave me my Arnold medallion, and then Arnold himself gave me the trophy.
Yeah.
So it was a true honor. Yeah,
I bet.
for sure.
Yeah, and we're here at GASP Better Bodies headquarters, Destination Dallas. So it's a really cool weekend. I'm hosted by them here, and we're also going to do an interview with the owner, founder, CEO, everything, Michael, MJ, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Johnnie, yeah, maybe for the people that don't know him, because I got a bunch of old schoolers on the podcast always, maybe talk to us about how you got into bodybuilding and what was your motivation, because usually people that get so far, they have some special drive, and I always want to know, like, where does this come from?
Yeah, I think I had the ultimate drive, tell you the truth, and I guess other guys will say that too. But this is truly, was something that I told one guy at one point, I have no choice. I'm going to turn pro. I remember telling, and I'll get to it, but I remember telling my first promoter that I talked to that like, I can't tell you I'm going to be Mr. Olympia, but I will turn pro. Like, I have no choice. And what I mean by that was because my oldest brother Willie, he was into training just like he's the one that got me into training, working out in the gym and all that stuff since I was like 8 years old.
Wow.
He'd bring me to the gym and had me doing stuff. Of course, I was really young, but he still had me doing dumbbell stuff, all that stuff. Not working out like he was and his friends, but making me, be active and stuff like that, because he knew I wanted to be stronger. I love playing football, and I wanted to be stronger for football.
As a kid, you trained like higher reps, or?
Yeah, I mean, it was high, heavy. It was just like I do now. It was a variety of,
already
different.
Like 8-9 years old.
Yeah, absolutely, and really getting taught.
But it
from
didn't
that moment.
stop your growth. Or is your brother way taller than you?
No, and that's one
That's
of
what
the.
a lot of people always think.
Yeah, that's one of the myths.
Yeah.
Is that especially back there in the 70s and 80s, with it's going to stunt your growth. This, that, and the other is horrible for you as a little kid. But no, I never broke knock on wood, I never broke a bone in my body because it enhances bone density. So with starting out working out that early and in a controlled, not hurting myself in a controlled environment, I was able to get stronger. obviously ligaments and tendons stronger as well as bone. Like I said, bone density as well through my training, you know, and nutrition, you know, because you know when you're working out, you're eating more than the average person who doesn't work out. You know, you don't have any choice because your body wants to recover and wants the food.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was a domino effect of training, eating more, getting healthier, and then of course looking good on top of it. So once you start getting that shape and start getting certain things and people start noticing it, you know, you want to do more, especially as a young kid, you want to do more, you know. So I enjoyed working out so much when I was a little kid, and especially who wouldn't want to hang out with their older brother? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's a
you
teenager
kinda
with
feel
his
cool,
teenage. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like the best thing in the world every day.
How much
you
older
know,
is he?
He's 10 years older.
Oh, yeah,
than
that's
I
a lot.
am.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
a big difference. He's a teenager. I'm a little kid. So like I said, you know, all the teenage girls and this, that, and the other you get to be around, and you know, all that stuff. So it was really cool, you know. And back then is different. It was, the camaraderie was totally different in the gyms back then. Remember Lasasso Gym? I was born in Hamilton, New Jersey, born and raised. And so we had Lasasso Gym. So I just remember being in there and guys are just yelling at other guys across, you know, the gym. Come on, get it, lift it, let's go.
I love that.
You know, the camaraderie was crazy. I remember this one guy, Andy Solaria, actually, some of the biggest arms I ever seen in my life. Still now that I'm older, still his arms were predominantly bigger than most guys. And it was mostly his tricep. You know, everybody think bicep, but triceps is the biggest muscle in your arm, you know. And so we would trade, everybody be working out, and then in the middle of the gym I would stop and I was like, Andy, let me see them triceps. And he would get a big smile. He's a big Italian guy, really good looking guy. He'd get a big smile and just start, you know, doing tricep, you know, poses and stuff right in the middle of the gym. It was so much fun growing up in the bodybuilding era then. And it was kind of, and that's the way I am now. It was kind of secluded a little bit, you know. Now it's a little bit more mainstream, which is good for the sport. But back then it was more a little bit of a cult, you know, following and stuff like that. So everybody was kind of close and all that stuff. And, you know, again, everybody had that, you know, competition inside them that want to win, but also we wanted the other person to be at his best, so then we know we were doing our best. You know what I mean? At my best, knowing that this guy's at his best when we're competing. So, you know, not like now where it's more of an individual sport. Back then, it was a little bit like powerlifting, because I'm a powerlifter too, and it was somewhat like powerlifting, you know, back then, bodybuilding, where people like made sure people would push and lift and, you know, yell and get them going. Well, today it's kind of like, don't talk to me, kid, you know, and kind of stuff like, you know who I am and stuff like that, which is, you know, crazy. Anyway, to get back on what I was getting to was my oldest brother, he passed away actually while I was in the military. I was right at my 10-year mark in the military, and he passed away. And like I said, I did my first show when I was 16. He was competing. He had competed several times already, and then I just wanted to, you know, do it because he was doing it and we were training together. So I kind of followed what he was doing, eating chicken and all this, kind of know what I was doing. I was just following what he was doing, trying to do my best. But I was particularly really put together when I was small. You know, I always looked like this, well, better than I do now, but I always looked like, you know, a bodybuilder, or I could, you know, compete as a bodybuilder growing up. So, you know what I mean? It was really cool, and one of the things I really enjoyed, and one of the things that gave me a lot of confidence was, you know, my look. So he would, like I said, take me to the gym, and, you know, we developed, you know, myself better. And then finally I was like, I'm going to do a show. I was 16 years old at Glassboro State College in Glassboro, New Jersey. Yes, yeah, absolutely. My mom still has a trophy, mine and my brother's, on the mantle at her house.
This is my very own clothing line. Faith isn't meant to stay hidden. These shirts put your inside on the outside. One bold Bible verse, epic aligning images for street or gym. Every shirt sold sends $5 directly to Christian charities, building wells, feeding families, and sharing the gospel. This isn't just clothing. It's a walking testimony. Wear the word, show the world what you believe. Order now.
So the dilemma was I didn't have my birth certificate. I was 16, I didn't have my birth certificate, and so I wanted to do the teenage. And so the judges was
They
like,
didn't believe you.
No, they did not believe I was 16. I was like,
Good
like
for
I
you.
look older. I swear to God, it's exactly what I said. Like I look older than 16. What are you talking about? And they were like, you only can do novice. You can't do 16 without the credentials. So I sat there, and it was $20 to enter. I totally remember, $20 to enter the show, and I'm sitting there, and I told my brother, I was like, I don't know. And he was like, don't waste your money, just, wait till next time, whatever like that. And I'm like, dude, I did all this stuff, all this training, eating chicken, sat in McDonald's, suffering. And I was like, you know what, screw it. I don't know what, because I was a really shy kid too, but I didn't know what was happened or what was in me at that time or what, fell on me. It was just like, just do it. Like, dude, do it. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I gave them the $20, and they penciled me in, and so I know I was backstage. I remember putting the trunks on, and I'm sitting back there, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you can't go out there like this. You got these things on. Are you crazy? Like, I couldn't talk to anyone, look at people and talk to them when I was little.
Did you practice a lot of posing though?
No. I'm just trying to follow. Like, I had no idea, dude. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was just trying to follow my brother and trying to do what he was doing. And I was so the confidence when you look good and then you know what you're doing. That I had none of that, zero of that. And I was like, oh my God. And so I found out we at least go out together, all together as a group at first, so that helped.
Yeah.
That and I honestly, and I probably blanked out, but I can't remember how I did on stage. Like, I don't remember posing. I don't remember doing a routine. I don't remember none of that stuff. I
Maybe
remember
it was so bad that your
it.
brain was kind of deleted that.
I'm sure. Well, I think I was so nervous. You know what I mean?
Did you beat a bunch of guys though?
Yeah. Well, I got third place in the men's novice when I was 16 years old. And, it was huge back then. Bodybuilding. Like, I couldn't tell you how many. It had to be like maybe 15 or 20 guys in each category.
It was the only category. There was just bodybuilding.
Right.
You didn't have anything else.
Right. Yeah. See, that's and I was ignorant. I was, like I said, I was just following my brother, seeing what I can do or whatever like that. And I ended up third. My brother ended up fifth.
Yeah.
I ended up third. Exactly.
No way.
Yeah. We went home and my dad just died. Laughing, he clowned my brother. He was like, "Oh my God, you're so strict, and you go to gym every day, and Johnny eat McDonald's, and this, that." And he's laughing, and I didn't know the whole bodybuilder mentality. So I was just like, and I'm sure my brother was like, I want to kill that son of a bitch right now. Like, I would shoot. He's my brother, but I would shoot him. Now that I know the bodybuilder's mentality, I'm sure he was just like, I'm done. Like, life is over. Yeah. I couldn't even imagine how he felt with me doing that. That happening. I can't even imagine. It had to be. And I felt some of it because all of a sudden he didn't pick me up after school to go to the gym. And that went for about 2 weeks. And I was thinking, like, what did I do?
And then he was like, okay.
He finally relaxed. Yeah, I was like, what did I do? What did I do wrong? What did I say to him? Like, he was avoiding me. Didn't, you know what I mean? All that stuff.
The thing is, there was 3 other guys that also beat him.
Right.
4 guys ahead of him.
Right.
So no matter what, he wasn't winning. So he's not, like, he must have realized, like, maybe I'm not, like, going to be the best in the world in this.
Yeah.
Right? But then he'd be like, but my little brother, like, third show, like, let's get him there.
Yeah.
So he probably got to that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and we went back to normal. We never talked about it or anything like that.
Okay.
So we just met normal training. He just started picking me up. went back to normal. Like I said, never really had a conversation about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That little disappearance there for a while, that ego,
That's definitely tough.
yeah, that hit on your ego. Anyway, so yeah, that was growing up, and then after that, I did one more show in Wildwood, New Jersey, when I was 18, and then that was pretty much my bodybuilding career, because then I went into the military when I was 18 in the Army.
Then you came back on stage in '98, right?
Yeah, well,
After the military.
the thing is,
but wait,
well,
you got to answer on the question. You said you had no choice.
Right.
Other
Right,
than
that's
to turn
why.
pro.
Yeah, we're building up to it. So
Okay, good.
yeah. So then I went in the military in '89. I did one more show, like I said, when I was 18, and then I went in the military after I graduated high school. And so then, after a few years there in training in the gym, then I started seeing posters around, and I'm like, man, I did that with my brother. I want to do that again, And so I worked out with a guy, Smalls, Ronaldo Smalls. He was in my company. He was about the only guy that could hold up. Like, I worked out with several people, and they're like, I had the reputation of, do not go near this guy. When you go to the gym, don't listen to him. If he say, let's go to the gym and work out together, you're like, no, stay away. No.
Because you trained too heavy and intense.
Oh God, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I train the same since from then on.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah. So anyway, I trained with him. My captain actually was really cool because I was a combat engineer. So we spent 6 days out of 7 days out in the field. We blow up bridges, we breach minefields and stuff like that. I remember staying up for 72 hours straight laying mines, out, so it was crazy work. But anyway, right at my 10-year mark in the military, my brother passed away. And so that's when I wanted to make his dream mine and, turn pro. And so, I did it, with the grief and the hurt and all that stuff. It was like something we were doing together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to focus on that and not focus on the other. And so that's when I was like, I got to make it happen for both of us, and just, headed down that road. I remember in '98 doing the Heart of Texas. Oh my God, it was horrible. I went as a heavyweight. Those guys that you see at the show are like, did this guy just find out about the show today and decide to do it?
You were not in shape?
No, that was me. I mean, yeah. I didn't remember anything, you know what I mean? Because I was following, not retaining. So, I had to figure everything out again. And so I jumped into a show because I just thought, I've been lifting or whatever, you know what I mean? I'm big, I should be good. Then I got up there, no, you got to be in shape. You got to be lean and hard. And so that was a shock to my system. I still have pictures in my scrapbook where I'm on stage. I got white trunks on. That's a big no-no. Mm-hmm. White trunks on. I mean, you see my stomach. I'm like this. I'm kind of looking to the side trying to figure out what are these guys doing posing-wise. When they, it's really bad.
Thank everyone who's on this channel, who is supporting. These times are really tough when I lost 2 accounts. So it is even more crucial for me to be able to sustain this, sending you to my link tree in order to order with my discount codes and support and subscribe to this channel and tell all your friends about it. It's very crucial to me and to the existence of this channel. Thank you so much.
But a learning experience and an embarrassing experience to say, I'll never show up like that again. You really learn a lot off of your mistakes. If you turn yourself to learn from them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you just make a mistake or screw up and just oh well, and move on and not look back and learn what to do, not to be in that position again, then...
Yeah, I see a lot of, for example, people that win shows that had a terrible lineup in the amateurs, and they think like, oh, I'm the coolest, I'm the best.
Isn't
And
that
I'm like,
all of them?
buddy, you weren't even in shape.
Isn't that all of them? That's all of them. I mean, it's, and I understand because you put so much into your training, into getting there on stage, and once you're there, and if you get that reward, you know, it's not a car, it's not something you build, it's not something you're holding, it's you getting judged, and for you to get that, you know, thumbs up, you know what I mean? Of course, you're like over the moon. Look what I created, look what I did, it's me, you know? So I understand the excitement about it, but you also got to keep everything in perspective as well. You got to take a step back, like you said, and look at your competition. And, you know, because there's a lot of guys, you know, also that compete throughout the season, you know, and they'll, you know, get top 3 or, you know, top 2 at a show or even win a show, but there's no competition around them. They're like the only guy there that really looked good, but they don't realize that. They just know, I'm going to the Olympia now. I'm going to be, oh my God, I got a chance to win the Mr. Olympia because I qualified. No, there's so many other guys.
You know what I love when classic guys turn pro, and then of course the goal is to go to the Olympia, right? But I'm like, do you know like the competition that is out there? Like people are like,
You're
I turned
about
pro,
to.
they haven't even debuted, and they're like, oh, goal's the Olympia, and I'm like, oh man, you're gonna be disappointed after your first show.
You're about to find out.
Yeah, that's not gonna be fun, man.
Yeah.
Let's see if because I'm also afraid that these people that are used to winning, they usually quit right away when they start losing.
Right, because you can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never went through the woods.
And I love that you didn't start winning.
Right.
That's good because it shows like you didn't just do it for the trophy or for the reward. Like nowadays, people like. I mean, since social media, people don't do it anymore for the bodybuilding.
Like,
you know?
They don't have a why.
Yeah, that why is
Why
like
are
to
you
show
doing
off
it?
on social media.
Right.
And if social media wasn't there, would you do it?
Exactly.
It's terrible.
Yeah, without a why you're doing it, it's going to be unsuccessful.
Yeah.
And a lot like you hit the nail right on the head. Yeah, absolutely. Without that incentive, without that if you can't sit down and answer why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? Then you shouldn't be doing it.
To be honest, I started in 2009, and like Instagram came about 2013 or so, and then it also wasn't that huge right away, and it was just like you said, it was just different. Like the people in the gyms were more like a family, and they understood each other. And now it's so mainstream that there's a bunch of people in there that they're not socializing, and
they don't know the history.
Yeah,
that's some of the problems. If you don't know your history, how can you go into the future or take it into the future if you don't know the history behind it?
Yeah, that is just always like, I'm always surprised by people that say in school or so history is like history of like mankind. It's like, I don't care, I just care about the present and the future.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't know who you are if you don't know your history.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't know your own history, like who are you? If you don't know your whole life till now, like you lose your brain power
for sure,
and you get like back up.
Yep.
Like what's that movie? Jason Bourne. It's like, who are you? You want to know your history.
Yeah.
And you want to learn from history and all that. Like, I can't believe that some people are so ignorant, but it shows like with everything else in their life.
Different times.
Yeah.
Definitely different day. Within 10 years from now, this world's going to look so much different than it does now. You know what I mean?
What do you believe is going to be like?
Oh my, flying vehicles, basically. You know what I mean? Almost, not quite like the Jetsons, but you know what I mean? Towards that, you know what I mean? That type of.
Do you think that also in gyms it'll be different, that they have like robot trainers, or do you think people want the social aspect?
Let me tell you this. Michael, myself, and Branch, you know, we did a tour out in China. Iron World Tour. We did right before COVID, and we talked to a guy there, this billionaire Chinese guy that owned multiple malls, and most of the malls had gyms in the malls. And what he wanted to do was get rid of his
staff,
human trainers, and bring in AI units to start training, you know, the clientele instead of having human trainers. Eliminate that. So that's been in the works for years now.
I think though, the Asians, especially in bigger cities, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's a bad, bias, but I think they're socialized in a different way because the cities are so big and people are different than European Western culture. I think the European Western culture, we're a little more into social
for sure
interaction, so we might keep the trainers for longer at least. Or we like,
I don't know, man.
I could imagine.
I don't think so because honestly, I don't think so because we have Walmarts that's totally automated now. You know what I mean? They don't want that human contact anymore. When it pertains to showing up late. Yeah. You know what I mean? Complaints.
That's
mistakes.
Right. Yeah.
All this stuff. You know what I mean? That eliminates a lot of stuff. Having something programmed to do that instead of you got to watch over it to make sure, you know what I mean, you're staying on task, where the robot's going to stay on task.
But what could happen is that if you're then one of the few stores that keeps humans, that a certain percentage will be like, oh, we're going to just buy there because
there's just like anything else. Just like anything else. Everybody's got a taste for anything, but if anything new, everybody's curious of that shiny new coin. For sure. So it'll explode. It may not, be successful long term, but I guarantee you everybody's curious and want to see it and going to try it. And by the time it fails, they'll make so much money and improve it. It'll be something else new. So
in terms of training, when did you start training with Branch, and how did they came about?
Well, before I get to that, when to kind of go down the road a little bit faster.
If it came later.
So in the military, my CO let me come out of the, field so I can train. So then I did a show, there right before I got out of the military, as well. And so I already talked about that. The Heart of Texas, I did, and so now I'm losing my way. But within that, after that Heart of Texas and embarrassing myself, that's when I met Prince Harrison. I tell you that trainer that promoter that I talked to here in Texas, that I said that, I can't tell you I'm going to be Mr. Olympia, but I know I'm going to turn pro. I had no choice. And he kind of sat there like you're looking at me now like, okay, kid, I heard this a million times from a million different faces, But yeah, it happened just that fast. I went back and did the Heart of Texas again. I went in as a middleweight, one novice in overall. It wasn't a novice, but one out of novice there. Went to the Lone Star a few months after that, and then I won. I got second, not first, to get nationally qualified. So then I went to the junior nationals, going back a little bit on, trying to feel out where you belong. Just like you said, how some guys get qualified for the Olympia and think, I'm going to win the Olympia. Well, before I even got my pro card, I thought once I won, out of novice and then won the Lone Star Open and then was eligible to do a national show, I thought, wait a minute, let me do a junior nationals. You can't get your pro card, but at least I can see how I stand up to the next level before I put myself out there. So I did the 99 junior nationals, and I actually won the light heavyweight class. I didn't get overall.
So you moved up already.
Yeah. So then I was like, maybe I do have a chance, at the nationals and not embarrass myself. And so that's when I went to the 99 nationals after that, and I ended up 9th there, my first nationals, which I thought I should have done better, but I think I was so new, it was kind of like they saw me, but not. So after that, no, not 9th, 11th. I got at that 99 nationals. So then I was going to go to, so I went to the 2000 USA, and I won the light heavyweight class at the 2000 USA the next year. Yeah. But I didn't get overall because at the USA at that time you had to win the overall to get the pro card. Quincy Taylor was a super heavyweight and he won overall. I won light heavyweight.
He trains at Fit Club.
Oh, does Vegas. He? Yeah, oh, yeah. So yeah, I got a long history with Quincy. And that's where I met Dennis James for the first time. I remember being backstage and Dennis going, "Johnny, you look good, man. You look good." But it's Quincy's night, man. It's Quincy's night. He looks incredible. I was like, I agree. I was like, he looks incredible. He was huge. 290 pounds or something. Yeah, 6'2" or 3 or 4, whatever he is. He looked incredible. He was the best shape he ever been in his whole career was Nationals, I think. And there was a couple times that he came in looking almost as good, but that USA, that 2000 USA where he turned pro was his best look, hands down. So I had to suck that up because I had to go home and be like, I won. And he'd be like, man, you're pro. No, I didn't get overall,
Yeah.
So that was, you know how that is. And so there was a 2000 National coming up, but now I'm...
You were doing the 2001 Nationals. Okay.
I'm thinking about name. God dang.
Describe where he's from. Maybe I get it.
I know you know the Dominator, Dominican Dominator.
Oh, Victor Martinez.
Victor Martinez. I'm sorry, Vic. I had to call your name.
You got this.
I love Vic. He's one of my closest friends, man. I love Vic. But yeah, Victor was doing the 2000 Nationals, so I was like, I'll wait till next year. And so I went to the 2001 Nationals and won light heavyweight and overall there.
Yeah.
Even though I had a chance probably at the 2000 Nationals because you don't have to win your weight class. You don't have to win overall. And Victor was a heavyweight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I would have been a light heavyweight. But I just was like, holy shit, I'm not going to
cool
compete against that guy yet.
So that was a good choice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And myself and Branch, that's where I'm getting to Branch. We turned pro at the same show. I won light heavyweight. He won heavyweight. Eric Ortiro was the middleweight from Texas. He won middleweight.
Beat Branch at the overall.
Yeah, and then was Art Atwood was the super heavyweight, and he lived here in Texas. So us four was from Texas.
That was the guy that died who went huge, right?
Yes.
Was he with Chet Nichols too?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. I love Art too. Art, really great guy. So me and Branch turned pro at the same time. So that Monday, I went right back to work. I'm training the client in Stroud's Fitness, and Hearst. And who walks in? Here comes Branch and Jay Moore. Walks in the gym, and I'm like, oh shit, there's that guy that turned pro.
You didn't
Branch.
even know you lived in the same town?
Yeah. No, we met. We hadn't met before. We hadn't met in '98. Actually, I was when I was competing. When I won the second Heart of Texas, he was there with his trainer Mark Hanlon and a group of guys, and they came and introduced themselves and stuff like that. So I was familiar with who he was, but we never talked. I had a conversation or nothing like that. And actually, at the 2001 Nationals, Ed and Bed Pariso, they were really close with Branch at the time. And so I saw Ed and Betty out in the hallway, and they were like, Ed was like, yeah, man, it looked like it's going to be, you were Branch for the overall. You're going to win your class. Branch will win this class. It was like, it's going to look like it's going to be between you guys for overall. And Branch, man, he looks good. Branch look good. You see them legs? Branch, I'm like, dude, stop. Like, we'll see what happens. I haven't even won yet. We haven't got to that point yet. So, take that shit somewhere else. But anyway, it is what it is, and I end up winning anyway. So, like I said, I was training my client. They walked in, and I'm like, oh shit, there's Branch. And they're working out and stuff like that. So then he walked over to me. He was like, hey, man. I was like, yo, what's up, man? He was like, what are you training tomorrow? I was like, back? He was like, you want to train together? I was like, hell yeah. He was like, cool. Walked off. That's the only conversation we had. And then we started training that next day and trained for 17 years.
Wow.
After that.
Yeah, because your styles are pretty similar, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how did you ever try anything else? And also, like, to the people that don't know, like, describe like how your training style would look like in terms of like, do you train everything once a week, and how hard you would train, the intensity, techniques, all that kind of like.
Yeah, for sure. Like
philosophy.
we really matched up perfectly. I think I took on the way we train our body parts weren't too different days, and I more accepted the way body parts the way he trained it. So I jumped in on that, and yeah, it was like heavy as shit and as many reps as we can get. You know what I mean? And we got to the point, like, people don't understand, like, it was competition amongst us. Like, we're buddies and all that kind of shit, but it was like, I'm gonna outlift this motherfucker, and he was like, I'm gonna outlift this asshole. And that's how we pursued our workout. That's probably why it seemed like, what are these guys doing? Or they're angry, or we're mad at each other because we're trying to beat each other. Rep for rep, weight for weight, we're trying to beat each other every time. So it wasn't like, okay, buddy, it's your set. Okay, buddy, your set. It's like, he can do that, I can do more. He can do that, I can do more. I'm gonna do one more rep. I'm gonna do a couple more reps. I'm gonna beat this guy somehow. And that's how, people are watching going, man, these guys they have no idea. We're actually competing against each other as well on trying to be better, because iron sharpens iron. So the better he is, how much better am I going to get him becoming, better than what he is right now? So, you know what I mean? That's one of the concepts that, nobody never really talked about, or we never really talked about. We always say that, we want to outdo each other, but seriously, it was a serious competition on, I'm going to do more than you. I'm going to break you down. You're going to crawl out of here. I'm not. And so it developed into our training, and people just started filming it. And it was like a competition, but it was like workout partners or whatever too. So
you basically, you did high intensity and high volume.
Yeah, 100%.
Both at the same time.
Yeah, I mean,
just everything once a week to recover.
How grainy hard you always get, and some of it is genetics, but a lot of it is because of the way we trained.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, because nowadays everyone's like, dude, I'm at New Tech in Vegas. The most amazing machines, right? And they still don't have a squat bar.
Right, it's crazy.
They have a bench press bar on the squat rack. I'm like, this stuff is like easy to, flip down your back. It's like, I've been asking, seemingly no one cares, or no one even knows.
Yeah, it's great. Everybody's just making things easier.
Yeah.
And they don't understand. They talk about the physiques on stage and how, they don't look like the guys of old, and they're softer, this, that, and the other. What is the training? That's one of the main. You got to look at they've evolved so much with drugs, peptides, this, that, and the other thing. You know what I mean? All these different oils that inject and stuff like this.
I think that's the big
and
part.
None
too.
of it is to get you hard. Get that body hard. Nothing helps that body really get hard like actually grinding in the gym, working out, squeezing that water out from underneath in between the muscle and the skin. You don't get that unless you get and grind in the gym. You know what I mean? That's that crisp, that extra, that last bit of getting that water off your body so you look harder and grainier on stage. And these guys don't attain that because they don't train.
But don't you think it's more also like I would agree with that anyways, but also like all these fillers they use, like all the side injection stuff nowadays?
For sure, but they were doing that back then. They were doing that back then. That's not new. There's new oils. There's, better stuff that lasts longer, and whatever and all that stuff. But they were using oils and different things to inject back then to improve the size. Like, some of it is instant. Some of it not really. Well, it instantly work, but it don't last. It's not long lasting. Like, it'll pump you up, and you can go out and pose, and then, you know what I mean? After so many, it fades out. But the difference is putting that stuff into a grainy, hard body, or putting it into a soft body.
Yeah.
Originally.
It could also be.
You think about it. You know what I mean? If you're soft already and then you inject that, that's not helping anything. But if you're grainy hard and you do that, that's just making a muscle larger. So, you know what I mean?
Maybe
it's not
also,
making you softer, it's making the muscle larger, swelling the muscle. So, and if you're soft already, you got a swollen muscle with water in between, the muscle and the skin. That's the soft look. But if that grainy hard look is, like I said, the hard training, the grinding, getting pushing that water out. Everybody want to go into a sauna or take a diuretic or whatever to get rid of water. You know, get the water that's in between the skin and the muscle is grinding, training, grinding.
Yeah.
Big difference.
I think it might also be that, so back then, they might not have relied on that too much, and they took it later when they already had a lot of muscle. And just to refine, like put a little bit here and there.
Right.
And now it's almost like
we're using
instead
it
of
to
building muscle, we use it
them.
already. So
Well,
they use
of
it way
course.
earlier, maybe.
Of
That might
course.
also be the reason. Because but when you talk about this, and this is all bro science, we have no reasons for it. But I see it also in my own experience. And for example, when I look at Hadi Choopan, he looks like he lifts like heavy free weights.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he has this look, that they used to have, like everywhere is striated. You see
Yep.
all the separations,
That's what I'm
everything.
saying.
And then you look at how he lifts, and then you look at the next guy, and almost only
See the
lifts with
difference.
machines. You know.
Yeah, you see the difference.
Yeah.
And you can, and I don't know. I see, you know, I can't say because I don't know how Derek trains, but we'll talk about him because he's Mr. Olympia. He's the best in the world. So why wouldn't we? So even with his physique, with the complaints about the softness, you know, not all the way he's, you know, he's in shape, he's lean and all that stuff, but never grainy hard. And I think that's part of it because you can see, you see, you know, bits and pieces, or if you follow his training, it's always machines damn near. I don't think I ever seen
he
him.
started doing a lot of incline bench press now. That's where you heard him.
But on the Smith machine?
No, just
Free?
dumbbells. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I rarely see anything, and I'm sure he does free weights. I mean, you have to at certain points, but a lot of things that he posts is on machines. He's on machines. He's doing something on a machine.
What do you think should be like? Is there like a ratio you would recommend? Like do X amount of free weight and then to
No, I don't. I say use the whole gym. There's nothing wrong with machines. Nothing
exactly.
wrong. You got to use the whole gym. I use the whole gym, everything. But I don't get away from something either. Like I don't get away from free weights and don't do free weights for machines. I don't, you know, flip flop.
I
You
think
know,
it's almost like a script for a play. You have a, you know, an ending, a beginning. You have a tension build up. You have a peak tension, then maybe a second peak tension. So I think in the gym it's like you have your base that's like certain free weight movements, and then you can add on to that because you might not feel a body part a certain way, or you might want to target like a little area more than another one, and there you can be more specific, or you have a nicer tension curve that you want to add to it, which with free weights you have gravity. And some things, like if you want to do a movement like a pullover, that's you can't have this tension curve like evenly with dumbbells. Like you'll be here and it's gone, and then you have another muscle.
Understand that.
You know what I mean?
Right. But there's something about having true weight in your hand, and there's more working just that muscle.
Exactly.
Also, having those, you got to think about your grip. You're strengthening up your grip. So if you're strengthening up your grip, you're strengthening up your forearm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so on and so on. So using machines also eliminates using those other, you know, accessory muscles to help that main muscle get better. You know, so you eliminate some of the things to help the smaller muscles get better, which forearms, you know, if your forearms are tiny and got great biceps and triceps, like what's wrong with this guy, you know? So you got to think of that. Getting away from free weights and touching machines. Machines make it convenient for you and easier for you not to have to balance anything. So you got to think your ligaments and tendons are suffering, and all your accessory muscles are suffering from developing, getting better, because that main muscle is getting bigger and stronger, and how everything else is going to support that. When this is failing, but this is like, I need more.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you also kind of get the natural balance you might miss that you for the core strength or something. If you train on the machines, you get huge arms and huge delts, but usually you would
look at the guys on stage.
Yeah.
That's usually the case.
Yeah. So I also felt like for myself that building on the free weights enabled me to use the machines in a better way.
Right.
So I felt like because I
And
know
you use machines for
the whole
volume.
tension, that I can really then focus on, what's
Exactly.
important.
Yeah, exactly. It sets you up correctly. You know what I mean? And that's some of the reason why. So people watch our workout and be like, "Oh my God, they're gonna not be able to walk when they get 55. When they get 50 or over, they're gonna be hurting, bent over, this, that, and the other." No, I'm stronger. My core is stronger. My ligaments and tendons are stronger. I'm, able to stand upright and, stand stronger, do everything at a certain level because of what I did on free weights, helping everything else stay strong. It's a connective thing. Everything's connected. You know what I mean? You want to isolate, and we talk about that, isolating. You want to be real strict to isolate. You don't truly isolate a muscle. It has to drive through other things to get to that one muscle. You know what I mean? So you got to think about that. If you're using a machine and it's setting you up and you're not using anything else but that one muscle, good for that one muscle, but how about everything else that's not getting stronger? That's actually getting weaker and atrophying because you're not using it as much.
Yeah, and the isolation you only need when you're not symmetrical.
Right.
Like if you're at a point where, okay, now I have a harder time growing, but first you shouldn't focus on isolating. You grow everything evenly, and then you can still. And people are starting with isolation. I'm like,
yeah. So they never develop their bodies into anything and end up getting injured because of that isolation and not factoring in on, I need my accessory muscles to be just as strong. I need them to be able to balance. So when I do free weights or when I am out at home and have to pick something up, you know what I mean? My chest is strong, but I pick up and, my forearms fail or, you know what I mean? My elbows, creak or pop or whatever, or ligament tendon, pops off the bone. You don't think about that. Like you want your everything strong, not just one thing.
Yeah.
And that's how I always approach the gym. I want everything strong.
What do you say to people that are like, wow, their form is terrible? What do you tell them?
Well, they're on the outside looking in, and everything we've done is controlled. Because if not, we would have been ate up. We would be the people that they say we would be if we weren't in control, like they thought we weren't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything is I always called it controlled chaos. Because if you're on the outside looking in, you're seeing chaos, but we're totally in control. You know? And you only get that with working with free weights and making everything strong, because then you can balance and you can, predict, predict what's going to happen when I touch that weight. You can like, I want to do 200 pounds. Will I be able to do it? Yeah, I feel good, core strong. I feel, you know what I mean? Let's go. And so you don't hesitate. But, other than that, it's like kind of like, without developing that, then you're just, pissing in the wind, kind of like grabbing something and not knowing, what's going to happen or what's going to fail, before you finish the rep, the rep count that you want.
Yeah, I felt for myself, and that so when people look at like your workouts, maybe they're like, wow, they're doing a lot of momentum, they're swinging, that's dangerous. And for me, it's I stay very strict, way more strict, but I learned from that, being able to be that locked in,
be explosive,
to know how to cheat, so everything stays like activated,
right?
And
that's the thing. That's
stable,
one of the things. How much
and you can kind of cheat, but still be stable. And a lot of people that start cheating,
but it's not cheating.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I wanted to address through that.
Well,
I was trying to cut you off. Is being explosive, not cheating. I was a power lifter as well, so I need that explosiveness during the power lift. I bench 600, I deadlift 832 pounds, and squat 826 pounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can go in the gym and be like, I'm going to isolate and be strict and and be able to do that as well, and body hold up under that kind of pressure. You know what I mean? So also it was a different dynamic for me than it is for, certain guys who don't power lift or don't, you know what I mean, have those type of goals, those, you know, weight goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for that, I understand, you know, but you also, like I said, got to make sure everything's strong as well. You know, and
100%.
I agree with the isolation. I agree with, you know, because I do it myself. You know, I don't not do it.
Yeah.
You know, but everybody dwell on one thing and not the overall picture. You know what I mean? Everybody can pick on one thing and be like, you know, that's not, yeah, you know, that may, you know what I mean? And not look over the overall picture like you're doing this. So the allowance for this is understandable. You know what I mean? Because you isolate and rep range, more higher rep range in the isolation mode and all that stuff. I'm still getting that done, but also I'm getting that explosive, you know, that I need for my powerlifting, and I need to get grainy hard as well when it's time.
When you train for bodybuilding, more so than powerlifting, like how did the training change?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I here and there I blended it, but it really is two different worlds. Seriously, because you know, bodybuilding is about body parts. It's about enhancing body parts. You know, making yourself even, body parts being able to flow into each other evenly and look symmetrical. And powerlifting is nothing to do with that. You know, it's just moving weight.
Yeah.
Who cares what you look like?
Yeah.
So there's two different worlds, you know. But there are some powerlifting movements that you could implement in bodybuilding to help you grow a bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, you know, and you could do it you could set out a section of time, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Myself and Branch, we used to do that. We used to hire Josh Bryant to come in and train us as powerlifters for maybe 6 weeks. You know, just to change things up, get a little bit more explosiveness. Our tendons and ligaments going to get stronger during that time period as well. So then when we go back to bodybuilding, is a less risk of injury when we're getting ready for a show down the road, you know, with dieting a certain way, getting rid of, you know, certain minerals and calories that you need to keep yourself strong and repair, you know what I mean, right away. Taking that away, setting your body up to be able to handle the brunt of the workout while that's going on in your body is important too.
How did you, so you train everything once a week, right?
Yeah.
Like regular split, like
Yeah.
back, chest, shoulders, arms, legs?
Yeah, Tuesday we do chest on Monday, legs on Tuesday. We normally take off on Wednesday, Thursday back, Friday shoulders, and Saturdays biceps and tries.
Okay, interesting. And then, so how would you determine when you're done training?
When we can't move anymore? No, we had a set. We do about
Yeah.
20, you know, about 20 sets altogether.
Yeah, and how long did your warm-up take to get to, like, because you lift heavy
We would
weights?
do a warm up anytime we switch into a different exercise. That first set was a warm up. You know, we never just go in and just grab, you know, work weight.
Major announcement, guys. The Peptide Encyclopedia is now to download. Check out the link in the description or the pinned comment, or go on my link tree. And the Anabolic Handbook is also available. All the compounds from A to Z broken down into benefits, downsides, administration, and so on. One favor I got to ask you, though, if you could subscribe to this channel to help it grow, to get the highest caliber people on this podcast, that would be amazing. Thank you so much. Now on with the episode. Go ahead, also check out my third book, Science of Aging. It is about understanding and really implying what you can do in order to age better and improve your health span. Check it in the link tree now.
But if you do like squats, so like how high up did you move on squats or so?
What do you mean?
How many plates?
We've done 8 plates.
So you can't do one warm-up set for 8 plates, right?
Yeah, no,
So,
yeah. We
yeah.
put 135 on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and then graduate up 135, then 315, and then 405, and then.
And when would be your first set where you go all out? At which, if you go to 8 plates, you already go out at 6 all out, or you just still like warm up with 6 and then?
Well, there's no more
8,
warm. The warm up is, you know, probably 4:05 is when, you know what I mean, we consider we're doing our work. 3:15 is probably our last warm up.
Okay.
Set is 3:15.
Nowadays, a lot of people go like, so when they at 8 plates, let's say, and that's their top weight, they try, if they, you know, have increments of 4, like let's say 2, 3, 4, 6, and then 8.
No.
They would do the 6. If they could do 15 reps, they would still just do 5, just to get a feel, central nervous system, and then at the very highest weight, then they start going all out.
Yeah. I mean, it's everything. Everybody's different.
Yeah,
in the way they approach it. You know, we've done it. We've done it every simple way. We've done like 5s, like set of 5s, and then we get up to the heaviest and do a set of 20.
Okay, see, yeah, that's basically what they do right now.
Yeah.
They just have another name for it, and you didn't name it, but you're doing the same thing they're doing right now. That's what they call nowadays top set.
Right.
You know, when they warm up to it, central nervous system, but they're not failing.
Right.
Not close
It's
to
the same
failing.
concept with Dorian Yates, where everybody was
Yeah.
going, "Oh my God, I don't want to do that. He's crazy. He just blows up the bar and just do a rep or 2 or whatever like that." Well, dumbass, he does several, you know, sets warming up to get to that heavy weight. You know, he just not mentioning, you know, just to him it's all warm up, and then that one set is the work set. So you can name it what you want, or, you know, have it as you will, but it's all the same.
A lot of people don't get that when it's talked about. Oh, I just do 2 sets. They literally think
you just go in,
do,
load up.
You get in the machine or 2 times and then you're out.
Yeah.
Like maybe if you're like super weak,
Right? Yeah.
you can start with that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, interesting. And so out of curiosity, like machine wise, which machines were like a total staple which machines do you love?
God, I don't know. That's a good question. I love it all. I mean, like I said, I use the whole gym. There's nothing that I don't use.
Except for back
I would say,
or for legs, what's really important? Like,
I used to, well, when I was competing, I used to love hack squats, even though they say it's really bad on your knees. I used to love, I used to do over 1,000 pounds on hack squats for 20 reps. I could. Knee wraps, of course. But yeah, I was super strong on them, and it's good development for quads, you know.
Yeah.
And I needed that every chance I get. work on my quads, you know.
And chest wise, did you think there's a machine that helped you a lot, or did you think like you really built that thickness mostly through dumbbells?
Definitely through free weights. Yeah, 100%. Because I mean, you got to think, you know, the era I grew up in, it was mainly free weights. There weren't. I mean, there was machines, but nobody cared about
I feel
machines.
Nowadays there's way more people with weak chests than when you look at the golden era. Everyone had a big chest.
100%.
Everyone. It's like
I remember Bob Ciccarello and those guys telling me, you need to stop powerlifting, you stop doing bench press altogether, stop squats, you're going to hurt yourself, you know, all this other stuff. You know, you got to think about your career. And I'm like, you guys done the same thing to get to the point to you got in your career, and now you're telling these guys not to do it? That doesn't make any sense. How did that make any sense?
Yeah.
Just because they want to jump on science, you know what I mean? Coattails, and now I want to be scientific about everything and and try to look smart. It's like, you ignorant son of a gun. You know what you've done to develop yourself to become a champion. Now you're telling guys not to do it that are trying also. You're kind of screwing up their journey by telling them not to do stuff that actually can help them get there a little bit faster.
Do you think bodybuilders are nowadays too careful or overly careful in the gym, and the opposite when it comes to drugs? So
absolutely.
So it shifted.
I mean,
from
you have to ask, yourself.
Come on.
100%. It's all about. It's almost, unfortunately, man, it's sad. It's almost all about who can afford the best guru to put the best formula together for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no, best trainer. You know, in the gym trainer, they'll talk about nutritionists. the best nutritionist because he's going to manipulate and, you know, come up with this formula for me to make me look like a flex wheeler. You know, it's not I'm going to get a trainer to get in the gym to help me develop my body to look like that.
Yeah, I think training is so underrated. It's so sad.
It's flip-flopped.
Yeah.
Because it's an easier time as millennial times. It's, you know what I mean? How they always work smarter, not harder. Well, they really took it to heart when it comes to bodybuilding. Yeah. Let's work smarter, and you know,
but maybe at
it's
the end
not
of the day,
as smart because
true.
You're going to die before. You know what I mean? You get to display all your glories.
Yeah.
You know, so it doesn't make any sense to me, man. But like I said, it's more of a softer mentality, if you would, on I want to get to where I want to get to, but not work as hard to get there.
Yeah. So you said Branch had a trainer in the. You had a powerlifting trainer for a little bit.
Mm-hmm, Josh Bryant. Yeah, he's signed with Gas.
Did you also have? Because I don't know, to be honest. Did you have a coach trainer that?
Oh, I worked with some of the best. I thanked them all. You know, my retirement there at the Olympia, when they let me guest pose there at the Olympia for my final time. Charles Glass and Tom Prince were my first two that I worked with. Charles was my trainer, and Tom was my nutritionist. Moved down the road, I switched from.
Well, Charles, didn't he make you train totally differently?
Oh, it was so frustrating.
Right.
I was so pissed
because you couldn't use the weight.
Dude,
yes. You did like.
Yes,
Milos
like is I'll tell you this, Milos is the only trainer. Not that Charles wouldn't have figured it out or didn't see it, but he probably didn't because of the shit that he had me doing that I couldn't display it. But Milos seen it right away that I use everything. Mm-hmm. Like how they say isolate, there's no isolation. I use from my feet, the kinetic chain, from my feet through my body into whatever whether it's curls, presses, bent, whatever it is, I'm using the kinetic chain on everything. And we were working out and he stopped me. One of the first times we were working out, he was like, I get you now. I know why you're so damn strong, because everything's already connected, but you use everything efficiently. Like you generate so much power through your body. That's why, you know, you're able to lift as much as you can. And I was like, wow, somebody actually get it. Yeah. Somebody gets this. But like I said, Charles probably would have got it, but he make you do certain things in so many different angles to where it feels like you're just using that muscle. Like the rear delt, you're just using that little muscle, nothing else.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I had doing side laterals with 5-pound dumbbells one time, and I'm going, I was so pissed off.
Yeah, but at the end
idea. I was so pissed off.
But at the end of the day, if you have a muscle part that is kind of behind, isn't that
yeah,
great?
No, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I've grown from training. That's why it was in the very beginning. So I learned so freaking much.
Yeah.
You know, through the guys that I work with and know their shit. That's why I look at people and I don't know why they talk about this or talk about that, because there's so many different ways of training. You just got to find out what works for your body and what changes you. Not necessarily, you know, what this guy's doing and it's wrong. Well, how do you know? You're not that guy. You don't know what he's getting from it. You know what I mean? There's so many different ways. And like I said, I learned it through like working with Charles at first. I had something totally different. And then moving from Charles and Tom, I went to Milos. And so that was even I mean, I got used to that, and then all of a sudden, Milos and his giant sets. Yeah. I was like, I remember doing arms, and we did 18 exercises in a row for biceps alone. It was just different styles. Like this was halfway, this is full, this is halfway down, this is like 3 count. You know, you do it every one of them was a different way, but it was 10 reps. Max, one after the other, right after the other, all the way down the road. I mean, I remember doing, how many did for 12 exercises for legs in a row? You can't imagine the pain that your body just goes numb and you're just, and real quick, I remember working with Hide. the toughest son of a bitch I ever known in my life. Outside of my dad. Yeah. Seriously, we're doing legs with Milos, and he would do his set, get up, go outside, blah, blah, throw up, come back in. I'll be doing mine. He'll come back in, get right, and he'll do his set, get up, go throw up. I mean, the whole workout, every other exercise, every other set, he was going outside throwing up.
But he came back.
Didn't complain, didn't waver, nothing. Nothing.
He might want to change his pre-workout meal. Maybe that wasn't the greatest.
No, it was Milos workout.
Yeah, I know that too.
The lactic acid buildup.
That stuff didn't digest.
Seriously.
For sure.
Yeah, but it's just the lactic acid buildup, and that workout was just incredible.
I think he's very big on nutrient flow and
all of
getting
it connected.
Full
all of it connected.
It's
all trust me.
Having
it
blood
really
in the muscle like every second of the workout.
It's true.
Yeah.
All of it, I attest to it, is true. It's fact. You know, you can listen to it, but if you go through it, it's everything he says, every little bit he says is factual.
Wow. Yeah, well, I'm going to get Milos on too, so that
I say wow. There's a lot of guys I pointed out that had the potential, and I was like, you need to work out with Milos, because he'll make that explode. Seriously, dude, and the whole thing. It makes so much sense. He'll explain it to you. He'll teach you, and you're sitting there and you can't deny it because it makes. If it doesn't make sense, you shouldn't be doing it. But it makes so much sense that you're like, duh. Yeah. What? Yeah, and then you do it, and it's like.
And you use insulin with that too?
Yeah, with him I did. Yeah, that only time in my whole career, never after, never before. During that time with Milos, I did.
Which years was that?
I won 2006 Montreal Pro with him. So it was 2005 or 2005. From 2005 to 2008, because 2009 Atlantic City Pro I won. I wasn't with him. No, I had left him by then.
Why did you go leave him?
Just personal. That was more personal reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what other?
And so when I left Milos, I went to Chris Aceto.
Yeah, totally different. He's like
totally
different. You know your training. Use your protocol.
Love Chris, man. Yeah. Chris is awesome. And I always tell guys, you don't choose your trainer through reputations. You know, you listen to reputations so you can seek out who you should talk to. Then you sit down and talk to them, and if they can make sense, they talk to you. Inquire about what you want, inquire about how you feel, inquire about your in and out and your why, and what he can come and the questions that he gives you and the questions that you give him, if it makes sense, if it all makes sense. If you can just, like I said, if it doesn't make sense, you shouldn't be doing it. But if a guy just tells you, that's why you're paying me. I know that I got the knowledge. You should just do what I tell you to do, and you'll be fine. Yeah. You know what? Kiss my ass, because I got to live in this body for the rest of my life, not you, buddy. And if you're not inquiring what's going on with me, then you don't really care. You're just using me as an experimental mule.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean? Because other than that, dude, if they're not coming to you, like I said, you guys aren't connecting. You know what I mean? Talking about you, talking about how you feel, talking about how this worked, how you feel. These guys was like, eat, wait a certain amount of time, and then look, and you should feel a certain way, you should see a certain thing. And this was like the development, the whole way through. It was never a letdown of, I don't know what's going on, or I don't know if this is going to work. Everything. Like with Chris, we did pictures every 5 days. Milo's pretty much the same. Everybody was pretty much every 5 days.
And it was mailed him, or you mailed him? Oh no, it was 2000. Okay, it was a little later. So
we take pictures. Yeah. A lot of emails, and I still have them also. Nice. For sure. But I knew after that picture, I'm going to get better in 5 days. I'm going to look better than what I did in that picture in 5 days.
Because Chris
There's
is like
no doubt.
at an apple.
That's right.
18 o'clock.
That's
at
right.
Like 6 p.m. Like
That's right.
Okay.
There was no doubt I was going to be better in 5 days.
Yeah.
So there's nothing better in your life knowing that you're going to get better. What you're doing, you're getting better. Period.
When was it? Because you went to military. Mm-hmm. When was it you got on gear? Was that like 1989 after that show where you at the Heart of Texas, or
No, hell no. I didn't do it until after the Junior Nationals. That's when I talked to my wife, my ex-wife at the time, and I said, "Hey, I think I could turn pro."
Oh, when you okay, so that was 99.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
I was like, I think I can do this. I think I can turn
So
pro.
28 years old there.
Yeah, yep. I was like, we honestly sat down and was like, hey, I think I can do it. I think I can turn pro. Because she was on board with me through the whole thing. So, you know what I mean? I wasn't going to just jump, do whatever. You know what I mean? It was all calculated, and I didn't honestly go to a doctor to get it start doing. I got from, guys from the gym and stuff like that, and ask. And the one promoter and stuff like that kind of guided me on stuff like that. And the guys who sold me stuff kind of guided me on, you know what I mean? Different stuff. So you learn as you go.
And then was there a point like when you hired your first coach or something that was like guiding you with the protocols?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who were your guys that were doing this?
Tom, my very first
Tom
Prince.
Oh, Tom Prince.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't want to go too much into.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Tom Prince. Yeah.
The guys' names and stuff like that.
Tom's
but
great
yeah,
guy.
but yeah, the guidance on that because I, asked or we jumped on board, and so there was a few things that I didn't know about that discovered, and he would set stuff up for me and send it to me, and then I would just have to do it or whatever. Didn't have to set it up myself. So
and
it helped out a lot.
What do you think is the reason? Like, I don't know. I feel maybe it's just because we have more people bodybuilding, but I feel there's too many dying. What do you think is the reason that bodybuilders die? Is it because some people say steroids alone? You should be fine.
Yeah, no, it's just ignorance, man. To be honest, some of it is ignorance, some is just mistakes. You know what I mean? You can't get oops back. We say that,
Ignorance, you mean not monitoring or?
Yeah, like, more eager to turn pro than to make sure that you're here to be able to turn pro. You know what I mean? And it's all through young. It's the same, and I'm not saying like other people. I can talk about myself in the beginning when I started. You know what I mean? Also, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? You kind of, discover you're like eager. You want to, this stuff is going to make you bigger, and because these other guys are doing it, and obviously it does what it's supposed to do. So you're like, you know what I mean? I'm hot. Like I said, I talked to my wife, and I was like, hey, I can turn pro. I think I can. Look at what I did, and I can't, how they say go to a gunfight with a knife. You know what I mean? It's going to go stale sooner or later. And these guys, obviously, there's heavyweights and super heavy. So, and I'm a light heavyweight. So I'm like, turning pro, that light heavyweight shit ain't going to, you know what I mean? Ain't going to be where I need to be.
The problem is not the talent here. The discrepancy is not because of the talent. It's
right.
Yeah.
It's because size. I need the size. It's bodybuilding. You need the size. So, you know what I mean? It's the same thing. You kind of get eager and start going down the road on stuff. And started getting some abscess and like what?
I never had that. No.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just getting over eager, trying to do the most and stuff like that. With or without guidance. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm come with ignorance. Is kind of like not getting monitored, kind of just going off the cuff of I'm going to do what I need to do and to get to where I need to get to as fast as I can. And then, luckily, with the different mishaps and stuff like that, you kind of start asking and start listening to what people say, and kind of developing your formula or whatever.
Yeah. The monitoring is definitely very, very important.
That's the only thing that's gotten better, I would say nowadays, is that.
But I feel The problem is that the guys who should monitor still don't.
Right.
And the guys who are already like more careful, they monitor everything. So it's like, you know, the guys still that shy away from it, that actually are the guys who are like should do it the most, because they're some are afraid.
Well, some
like,
of them don't want to admit it.
Yeah, they don't want to see it.
The whole thing, they want to hide it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something that you want to walk around and hold up, you know, a sign saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're
yeah.
trying to hide it, and then hiding it, you know, and that's some of the ignorance in it is, you know what I mean? You're doing this, you know what you want to do. Instead of hiding it, seek out someone that can help guide you through it.
Yeah.
You know? Because some guys want to still walk around, I'm natural. Yo, I don't take anything, whatever like that. And they're just, I mean, really, dude?
Yeah.
You know?
Also, it's interesting because even like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when I thought about it first, like we had so much more respect. Like we were like, Tren, no way I'm going to touch that stuff. And nowadays it's like, I get people that inquire for coaching and they look like they wouldn't win a natural contest,
Yeah.
but they're already on 1,500 milligrams total and on Tren.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It's nuts.
dude, let's look
And
at
you
your
know how
training. Let's
much
go on
that hurts.
250 test.
You know how much that hurts. I mean,
Yeah.
a trend cough, you know, and all that stuff. It's just
Never had that.
no.
Nope.
But yeah, it's everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. You
I'm
know
like,
that.
I'm personally very side effect insensitive.
Wow.
So I like,
That's good and scary on top of it.
So, but it's because I think when I look at my conversion, I also don't have a lot of good conversion, like absorption of like turning over like a dose of like, let's say 300 milligrams of testosterone into actual free testosterone. When I look at it, it's way better at other people. Other people have like double. So to have the same outcome in actual like testosterone, so how my body's gonna use
Absorb
it,
it,
yeah.
yeah.
So even someone like might say, oh, you take 600, I just take 300. Let's look at our butt work, and it's almost a similar outcome.
Wow.
And it's like, well, you take more, but you know,
Right.
at the end of the day, we're the
We're
same.
using the same.
So I feel people should also look more when they like also coaches. They look at like, let's just get a little bit away from the dose
Yep.
and look at how the body absorbs
I
it.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yes. Yeah.
Some people might. There's some people that take more than others, and they're healthier. There's
Yep.
some people that take nothing,
Yeah.
and they get every side effect in the book.
Everyone.
Every single one. And
Everyone.
you're like, what on this?
Yep. So
Yeah.
the bottom line is, like you said, is monitoring.
Yeah.
Is the
So great
smartest
nowadays.
thing. Yeah. Smartest thing that anyone can do for themselves is start out, you know, getting monitored, you
I have
know, and then
this-
go from
yeah.
there.
I have this cool sponsor called Rhythm Health, and they have an at-home blood test. And you just, it's like a diabetic device.
Yeah, yeah.
You put it on, you click, and it fills up the vial. You don't even, it's like a little pinch. And then you put it in like a bullet case, and you send it in, and you can even text them to pick it up. So you don't have to
Wow.
move.
Wow.
Like your lab's 5-minute thing.
Wow.
And if you wake up early, staying like fasted till whenever you get your appointment, that's not cool,
That's even-
right?
yeah.
That sucks, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you're like, wait, the next appointment's at 12, or I wait 2 more weeks to
Right.
get my
No.
labs.
Seriously.
So, and that's really cool.
That's
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
Yeah. So,
That's
so
not
I'm,
cool,
I'm
that's
lucky.
awesome.
Yeah. So I get blood work every month
Wow.
with them, and when I want even more markers, like specific ones, then I would go to Quest or
Right.
wherever.
Right.
It was pretty. Yeah, it's pretty good. And we are also, I was told they're going to work with me on a bodybuilding panel. So really, just like what bodybuilders want.
yeah.
So a little more
Specific.
specific ones.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be really good.
Yep.
Yeah. Also looking at estrogen a lot because I see a lot of gynos. So you want to know where you're at. And
Yeah,
also
for sure. I had
lipids,
trouble
it's
with
very
that
important,
myself. Had trouble, and I didn't. God, I remember when it first came on. I was like, "What's going?" It hurts so bad, and I'm like, "What's going on?" It's filled up with water, and I'm like, "Oh my!" Matter of fact, the Europa, one of the second Europa, myself and Branch, it was in 2006. Myself and Branch won and 2. He won, I got second. And one of the reasons why is because the gyno I had, Steve Weinberger, kind of was like, I was like, I know.
How
He
did
was
you
like,
get rid
take
of
care
it?
of that. I was like, I know. Well, I didn't know too much about things, but Arimidex, you know what I mean? Pretty much, I wasn't taking any estrogen blockers.
So
to
it
get
wasn't
ready.
too developed, so it
No,
went
no,
back.
I was able to dry it up, but I just didn't know.
Yeah, for me it was so funny because there was one show where I could see it, and it didn't look good. It was like not crazy, so I tried the regular stuff that people are like recommending, and like raloxifene, even where they say that's better than tamoxifen, and letrozole, and I ended up taking what was in one of William Llewellyn's books, but it's not in the newer versions. It's called ATD, and that stuff, amazing. And you know, my former sponsor still sells it as like Letro XT or so. So it's crazy. Like that was for me
Wow.
more effective than all the textbook things.
Right.
You
That's
know,
crazy.
it's like nothing helped really, and then I took that, boom. Went away. And you know, if you see me compete, like no one ever told me, "Oh, you got to." No, like it's completely gone. And I got more shredded afterwards.
Right.
That wasn't my
Well,
most
yeah,
shredded.
that's the whole
So
thing.
it should be more.
Yeah,
prevalent.
because your water, you can't
Yeah.
get rid of but so much water because your estrogen.
But it wasn't. You one time, like I did some research. You talked about a near-death experience of yours. You want to get into that because that's also something that's very underestimated.
Yeah, man, for sure. And it was something that you wouldn't have thought would have done it too. But well, I guess you would really if you know about it, about how it works. The potassium. You know, potassium is the last thing they inject when they do when somebody goes to the death penalty. They inject potassium is the last thing they inject in your body to stop your heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was taking potassium chloride. I was working with someone, they were having me take potassium chloride after every meal. So while they were doing this, the concept was do this so you can start storing potassium. So when I get to the show and take a diuretic, that's one of the things that I wouldn't get rid of, your body wouldn't get rid of. So because getting rid of potassium is one of the things that causes cramping, you know? Sodium, potassium. So it was like you're storing potassium. I just over time, you know, like why is he having me do this? He never explained it to me, but then I caught it when I thought, oh, he's trying to get me to build up potassium in my system. So then when I get to the show and gotta dehydrate and I get rid of water, I won't cramp because I still have positive potassium in my system, but the buildup potassium was an overkill, and to get rid of the water really made the potassium in my muscle spike as well. So then my potassium level was at a killer rate.
Did you also take a potassium sparing diuretic maybe?
Aldactone.
So
Yes.
So then you.
So
double,
then
yeah.
So
If
it's
you
double jeopardy.
If you take
If I took a Lasix,
Yeah.
it would have drew some of the potassium out.
So,
But
yeah.
because I was taking Aldactone plus the potassium chloride, it was storing till it got over a dangerous level.
Yeah.
You know?
That's also why if you take a diuretic like that, you don't want to carb up on potatoes or something that's high in
Correct.
potassium.
That's high in
Yeah.
potassium.
And there's hydrochlorothiazide, and sometimes that's paired with triamterene. So you guys have to be careful if you get the paired one or just the hydrochlorothiazide, because the hydrochlorothiazide is not potassium sparing. It just flushes you out like
everything.
whatever green tea or something,
Right.
but in a different way. So then you can eat some potatoes or some bananas usually. But the best thing is, like you said, monitor yourself. It's very, like on a bunch of panels, there's your potassium and sodium levels on there. So you know before the show
Right.
if you're high already or not.
Exactly.
If you're already like sky high,
100%.
like
Yeah.
maybe not load up on
Yeah,
bananas.
like dude,
know?
you're in
So
danger.
so don't do the bananas, and don't do the potassium sparing, because you're already like loaded.
Right, exactly.
So
Yep.
You want to know, like, and
It's
a
all about
bunch of
timing.
coaches like,
What's
let's throw
bodybuilding
something
about?
on him.
Timing.
Yeah.
Timing. You
And
know?
if you don't know, I would rather say spill out both.
Exactly.
You know, just
Yep.
do a HCTZ
Yep.
or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so your potassium was so high that you almost died.
Yeah, yeah. So that's pretty much it. It's just like I suffered in the hotel room. Like my stomach was killing me. I was puking. I was trying to get Gatorade down, but my stomach was bloating because my body wasn't absorbing it. And then I would puke it out. And then finally, I got enough courage, to go downstairs to the front desk and ask, hey, do you got a doc on site, or you know what I mean? You had to call paramedics. And I didn't even have to really say anything. As soon as I walked to the front desk, the front desk guy saw me. He was like, "Oh, are you okay?" And just called 911 right without me even saying
Did they
anything
give you
to
salt
him.
water or something?
I know. I just sat and waited for the paramedics to come.
Yeah.
And they came and scooped me up and took me straight to the hospital. And I remember getting there, and then I remember laying in bed and kind of opening up my eyes, and the doctor, he was walking up and he had some assistant with him, or somebody he was like teaching or whatever, like bringing around with him. And he was walking slowly up to my bed. He didn't know I'd had my eyes a little bit open. And then when he got closer, I kind of looked at him. He was like, "Oh," he was like, "Mr. Jackson, I'm gonna have to tell you, I don't even know how you're alive right now." He's like, "I have no idea how your heart is still beating." He was like, "Your potassium level is like up over 7, and 3 was the limit. Over 3 is dangerous, and you were at a 7, and your heart should have stopped hours ago."
Wow.
So he was like, "I can't even explain it why you're still here."
I think that nowadays the metrics is usually, I think 4.3 or something.
Yeah, I'm not
Maybe
sure. I'm not
wrong,
sure
yeah.
with it,
But
I
that's
just
still, like,
remember-
way over, yeah,
I just remember what he
Yeah.
said to me, and that's. I mean, how can I forget? You know what I mean?
So do you know what they gave you? They just gave you IV sodium?
IV. I know they, flushed my system and all that. So I was kind of out of it. Like I said, I remember getting to the hospital, the ride, and then next thing, like I said, I was like kind of looking up and seeing him walk towards me. I don't know what they did to get me there, but
I don't know if there's how to flush out potassium, but maybe there's a way. I like some chemicals, because otherwise I would just think like maybe just give you more sodium so the ratio goes back. But
Right.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they did there, but wow, yeah, I think Milos rescued someone's life that way because he knew what to do.
Right.
Who was that? Oh, it was Mike Madrasso.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he saved his life, I think, but then unfortunately, like 2 years later, he passed. But that's something like, yeah, and also if you're doing a bunch of diuretics, like you don't have to stop drinking. The diuretics do that job.
know.
Like
I
if you do
know.
both, it's like
I
really
know.
dangerous.
That's what I mean. That was back when we were, trying to turn pro. It was like I would stop drinking water for like a week, and I would just do an ice cube whenever it was like desperate. I would just take an ice cube and just wet my mouth, and then on top of it doing diuretics at the end, the last couple days. Just insane stuff.
Yeah, and if you don't have a weird water imbalance, then you shouldn't need diuretics like much anyways, because
At all.
you should look like 1 week before you should look dry as hell. Like you shouldn't look like, oh my god, I need to lose 10 pounds of water. So if you don't look like that before, you might be like questioning if you want to do that show.
Yeah, unfortunately, that stuff happens quite a bit because not everybody can afford to get the best, guru or trainer to help them out, and some of these guys are just, from kids, as a kid, you want to outlift everybody. You go, I remember getting to high school, going into high school gym, like, oh man, we're going to bench press every day. You know what I mean? I remember that, so yeah, so it's some of it is just the excitement of being within the sport and trying to do your most to, to get better, and not being really knowledgeable, especially back then. Now it's different now, of course, but back then it was like, there wasn't that much knowledge about bodybuilding. Like people would state it was a cult following, we were like freaks. If you had big muscles, it was kind of like you're an alien or whatever like that, you know what I mean? So there wasn't a whole lot of people sharing a whole lot of smart things with guys. They was just trying to figure it all out, but nowadays, with the same stuff going on that was going on then, it's kind of like, come on, guys,
Yeah.
what's the deal? Because there's so many knowledgeable people, and for them not to share, you know, at least to the extent of helping people, you know, maintain their health.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, and I think that's some of the problem with some of the deaths around, is that people feel like they're individual and on their own. Some people hate to reveal what they're doing because they want to seem like they're natural, instead of seeking help, you know what I mean? And getting the appropriate help you need to save your life, you know, and not getting in that kind of trouble.
Yeah, it's not candies. Even though, like, maybe in the beginning nothing happens, that doesn't mean it'll just stay like that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, you know, as you go, it tear things down.
Yeah, and you know, like, we can talk about so much more, but we're gonna do another one. Let's get into, because it's coming up, the Arnolds.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be there. I
Yes.
probably am gonna be there too. That's
Oh,
gonna
cool.
be exciting. So what are your thoughts on the upcoming Arnolds and the lineup? I can remind you, if you know who's all going up.
No. That's the whole thing. I don't
Okay.
really.
So in the favorites we got. We got Rafael Brandao. We got Nick Walker, Martin Fitzwater.
Right, I know them.
Andrew Jack.
I know he's
Hadi
going.
Chopin, and not to
No,
forget.
they're well. Yeah, I guess
maybe-
for
yeah,
now.
So yeah, for now. And then Brandon Curry.
Wow, that's awesome. So yeah, really cool lineup. So you want to know who I have?
Yeah, like, which
What
physiques
I-
do you like? Who do you want to win, and who do you think would win? Because that might differ. Like, you might be like, well, actually, I like this guy's physique the most,
Right.
but I think that guy's going to win.
Right. Yeah. So, hands down, I think Andrew Jack, out of the whole lineup, is my favorite. Just the physique is incredible. I remember one of my clients, when he first saw him, when he came here to Texas, did the Texas Pro. If I can remember what he called him the template. He was like, Andrew should change his name to the template, because they broke it after they molded him. That template, because you don't see nothing like that ever anywhere, you know. And I thought that was really cool. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much says it all. And he's developed so much better. Like, you know, with bodybuilding, it's just like you see something, you think, oh my God, but then it can get so much better. And he's an example of, you know, how much better it can get if, you know what I mean, they do the right things and stuff like that. So I think he looks incredible. And in the beginning, he looked like unbeatable almost. You know, I don't know about Ronnie Coleman unbeatable yet, but, you know, he's getting pretty close.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
To get into that, you know, just the shape, the symmetry, and now the size. You know what I mean? Now that he's bringing his legs up to even out with his upper body, that's all he needs to do. And now he needs to, you know, get that cross striations in the glutes. You know what I mean? Get that kind of hard, grainy. And I think he'll mow over the competition, more or less.
So you also
know?
think he will win the next Olympia? I mean, if he comes in shape.
Yeah,
of course.
you can't predict it, but if it continues on the path that he's taken.
So if
and
you would
nothing
have to
goes
bet
wrong-
today, if you would have to bet today, like, you have to bet, like, who's winning the next Olympia?
Oh God. So I would say he is.
Okay,
I would.
that's- see,
Honestly,
yeah,
if I had to put
Yeah.
my neck out there, and I would say, he will. Just with the way things are proceeding, and leading up to, so because we'll see at the Arnold, because things, if you know, everything's about timing. You could do everything correctly the whole time and screw up that last 2 or 3 days and look like crap on stage. So it's unpredictable, really. It's all about that timing. So we'll see, but I have to lean towards him.
You got Nick and Martin.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a bigger fan of Martin physiques. I mean, you can look at my physique and you understand, you know, why I'm more, you know, towards the symmetry, you know, the aesthetics and the symmetry and stuff like that. I love the size too. You got to have it. But I truly believe in that nice, you know, symmetry, X-frame, all that kind of stuff. Look, so with that, saying that, then Martin I have, you know, coming in second. you know, for sure. Just love his physique. Love what he done. He looks great. Attitude can change a little bit, but great physique.
What do you mean attitude? In terms of being like more positive?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just I mean, I don't know. Well, I do know, but so just with the time that I've been around him, and stuff like that, like, and I don't know, because it was a limited amount of time too, but what I have perceived is a little bit of, I don't know how much he really listens. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I know obviously he listens to a degree, because he never would achieve what he's achieving right now if he didn't, but I don't know if he can totally submit to being humble. You know? So I think that disrupts a little bit of who he is. You know what I mean? And Andrew may be the same exact way. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But because of, I didn't really have any interaction with him. But also, and he doesn't speak a lot, and he hadn't done a whole lot of Instagram posts. So him being kind of silent, I don't know. But like I said, Martin, he's kind of like in your face type of guy. You know what I mean? Excited, you know, like ambitious in your face.
I just feel he's mad at a lot of people that don't see him winning. Like, he starts being mad at people that don't. Because I remember JP Fuchs, who I do a German podcast with every week. He was always a fan of Martin and was always like super positive. And then one time he said he had someone else winning, or he had him third or whatever. And then he was like he got a message from Martin, and he said Martin was like furious.
Right.
And it's like come on, like,
yeah, you got to take
praising
both.
you all day.
Yeah, you got to take both. You got to take the good and the bad.
And it's not that JP wants anything. Like, I feel that Martin sees a lot of people. There's so much negativity, and maybe he can't distinguish between the people that want to see you lose and the people that just give
on
you
your
honest
side,
critique.
but give you honest
and they want your
opinion.
best, but they give you honest critique.
Right.
Like, I don't want to see him lose. I think his physique is amazing, and I want to see him at his best. But if at some point, like, I don't see that he was his best, and I say it, that doesn't mean I wish bad on him.
Right.
It's just
and
like
you're
we talk about
normally
bodybuilding.
comparing him to him.
Yeah.
You're comparing that last look to this look now, and you're saying that last look was a little bit better, or this look was better than that look. Whatever it is, it doesn't cause any bad reaction for that. And that's what I'm saying, is that taints a little bit of him having that attitude. And if he can kind of dumb that down a little bit, he would be looked at in a way better light, I think.
If I look at myself, I also see that, maybe it was the lighting. There was not much footage too, but I felt in my last show I didn't look as good as the show before. Mm-hmm. But that might have been also the lighting and the footage.
Absolutely.
Because people told me I looked better, but I felt I looked better before.
Right.
So, like, if they said, "Oh, I think you look better the show before," I'm like, I agree.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
right.
like, I mean, maybe I have to be good at that because I don't have a coach.
Right.
So if I'm not honest with myself,
but still,
like, I'm lost.
Yeah. That's the honest truth right there.
Yeah.
That's the truth right there. So yeah, I like the guy a lot, and all that stuff, but just need to, amp down a little bit, and that would do wonders for his career too, I think, for sure, and how he's looked at, and even though he looks awesome, he would look even better with that approach.
Yeah.
I think. So then after that, I didn't even think about Heidi.
If he was to compete.
If he was to compete, that's hard to call him and Martin, because I still have Andrew winning, but him and Martin, it'll be really close.
Yeah.
Because Heidi has that, because Martin comes in really good condition too, but Heidi comes a little bit grainier. You have to admit, a little bit grainier on Heidi's side, but Martin's got a prettier physique, and I love those, like I said, the symmetry and all that going on. and Heidi's a little on a blocky side. You know, he's gotten, you know, a little bit big for his height. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to say, man.
I think
it's really hard to say.
I'm just thinking, okay, what's the trajectory? I think Martin is a little more on an upward trajectory.
For
and
sure.
If you look at Hadi last year,
right?
No, it was the year before last year. We were already in 26. So if you look at Hadi 24 to 25, I think he got worse. So thinking of the trajectories,
but there was a show in between there that Martin didn't show up either.
That's good.
And he admitted it himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that does happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? It could have been timing. Could have been a little bit tired.
But I also think, like, muscularly, like he went
muscularly. I think Heidi has it.
Heidi downsized a bit.
Yeah, but I still think he would have it muscular wise
more
than Martin. He's just have that size. That
so
sheer size.
That's a toss up.
So that's a toss up. The way could go 1-2.
So then Nick would be after.
But I'll say Martin second, Heidi third,
or Brandon. Like
and then Nick, and then Brandon.
Yeah, probably. I'm very interested in seeing Rafael Brandao because I think he has a very pretty physique.
Rafael, I didn't even mention it. Yeah, holy crap. See, it's like so many great physiques. And so I think Rafael then Brandon, actually.
You could beat Brandon?
Huh?
You think he would beat Brandon?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, just balance.
I think if he's at his best, I think so too.
At balance, because Brandon's not balanced. He still has a lower body problem, you know? And so if he comes in that condition and balance, he can beat Brandon.
I even think that Brandon's legs look bigger, but they look less separated.
And that's all I was going to say. Yeah. He's not as hard. He's not going to come in grainy hard. If he comes in and those legs are big, like they matching that upper body, then he's not as hard.
And if Brandao is hard, he has these leg bellies like Sean Roden. Like where it's like goes deep in,
and he has a better balance,
like
upper and top balance, symmetry. And he got better balance, and then like I said, if Brandon does come in with a better balance, he's going to be softer. So I think one way or the other, this guy is going to be able to inch him out.
Very.
In my opinion,
could very likely be the case.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be interesting. Mm-hmm. What do you think of Nick? Like doing it by himself now?
I mean, to each his own. I mean, I think everybody's. There's developing. That's becoming its own story. You know what I mean? It's developing too much with it. Like, dude, not that no one cares, but who cares? Do your thing. You know what I mean? It's bodybuilding. It's competing. You are who you are. We know what you look like. We know what you have. Get in the gym. You know what I mean? Focus, do what you need to do to come on stage the best Nick Walker that can get on stage, and that's it. Leave the rest of it alone.
You think there's too much gossip in
I think it's just, and he's feeding into it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the only way this is gonna calm down and you're gonna be able to relax if you don't react to it. The more you react to it, the more it frustrates you or whatever it does, and the more you put it out there, the more people are going to look at that and not you. The more you're going to hold what they're saying than looking at what you actually look like. You're going to look like what everybody predicted or what everybody think you will, and nobody will see what you actually are because of all the talk. So he needs to dumb that down and just work.
The superpower would be if you can separate it completely and you would just use it to gain clout. So, because that would be great, like people talking about you, but you don't care, but you get all the attention.
Have you ever?
And then nowadays you monetize it.
Have you ever seen some of my old videos? I always said, if you got my name in my mouth, if you got my name in your mouth, that means I'm doing something significant. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, you're thinking of me.
People that's what I always find funny when I have Bob Ciccarillo on. I talk to him, and everyone's like, there's always these comments, he's irrelevant. And I'm like, so why are you watching?
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of people that are always watching Bob Ciccarillo.
Yeah, and always got his name in their mouth.
And it's like, buddy, you making him very relevant, you even commenting. You're taking time out of your day to comment, you watch him. Like, how is he irrelevant?
How is he? Yeah.
He seems to be very relevant
Yeah,
to you,
he's a
buddy.
main person in your life. You know what I mean? Do you even know your kids? Do you even know your kid's name anymore?
Did you talk to your kid today?
Yeah, shit.
Or comment on
Or
Bob
comment on
Ciccarello?
Bob, yeah. So yeah. Thank you for making me significant.
Yeah. Well, I hope I made you significant today.
Hey,
with the
I'm sure
podcast.
you have. Awesome. It's a pleasure being here, man. Like I said, I told you
Likewise.
earlier, I haven't done a lot of these in my career, but the ones that I have done, I respect them. I think they, put out good knowledge, good footage, not just egotistical things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or what's the happening or the now
Just
thing.
gossip, yeah.
Yeah, that you're following is just good, conversations and, honest conversations and good knowledge for people, out there. So, you know what I mean? Thank you for that. And then I appreciate you bringing me on and having me a part of it.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Johnny. Yeah, I mean, you're a legend of the sport, and I'm pleasure to have you on. And this is exactly what I try. So you confirm my efforts here.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I want, when I do a podcast, I'm always like, okay, like, does the listener gain anything from it? Can he get anything from it to change whatever, like his training, his life, his nutrition, his health, whatever it is? If there's a podcast that's just about, trucks or so,
Right.
and in a bodybuilding car, or just random bro talk.
Right.
Like, I'm
right.
like, I don't want that.
Who cares?
But some people
on.
care, and then they can watch the other stuff.
Yeah.
But I always try to give you something out to gain something from it.
And then people need substance. So everything else is entertainment. You need that different entertainment in your life,
Yeah.
but you also need some substance in your life.
Yeah.
That's how you gain progress in life, is substance through substance.
I hope this is kind of both. A little bit entertaining, a little bit
Oh,
something.
well, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
here.
yeah.
I'll be entertained to see. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
no. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. You tell us. Tell us in the comments. Was it entertaining? Where do you have some criticism? I always want to get better at what I do. We all want to. So, criticize away. We're not mad at you. We're not that defensive. It's all in good spirits, unless you personally attack us. But throw everything in the comments you want, even personal attacks. It's all good.
That's right.
I don't mind. And if you like this, please share it. And follow Johnny also in the there's all his channels and his website. I'll put in the description where you can follow him. And subscribe to the podcast and tell all your friends about it. Hopefully,
That's
have a
right.
good one.
See
Bye-bye.
you soon.
Yeah, buddy. Good one. Awesome, man.
In over a decade of coaching, what I learned is you have to be able to ask the right questions and then know the proper answers. That's what I do best. If you want to find out more, get one of my 2 books I wrote on training, endocrinology, peptides. Sign up if you want to join my coaching. Links in the description below, or just message me on Instagram. Big surprise, guys. I'm now with Gasp. The clothing is very cool. Everyone who's deep into bodybuilding knows GASP stands for bodybuilding. If that's where you want to spend your money on, then use my code and have a good conscience doing so. Have a good one, guys.